Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable. Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's facts. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
We are never taking a week off again, Mike. Never again.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Episode 47 of the Last Round Podcast. We took a break last week. It was actually a holiday here in the States. So there was a lot of people
Drunk.
And all that stuff, and had a day off last Monday. And I noticed a lot of other podcasts still recorded. I think they did Tuesdays or stuff, but we did take the week off. Actually, Mike, you were actually in Vegas.
I had a friend visiting from back home, across the pond, as they say.
Across the pond.
Don't remember much.
Don't remember much.
Yeah.
He was there for like 9 days straight, but he made it back in one piece.
Someone's got to do it, Danny Z.
He made it back in one piece just in time for episode 47 of the Last Round for this week. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in again. Whether this is your first episode or your 47th episode, we appreciate it. But before we go into our previews, and we are going to review the Lomachenko fight because we did not record last week, so we'll touch on that briefly. Before we go into our normal routine of each episode, we have a special guest on the line who actually fights this Saturday in Las Vegas on the undercard of Tyson Fury at the T-Mobile Arena. He is the youngest ever signee for Top Rank. I believe he signed at 16 years old, and he fights this Saturday against Miguel Angel Perez Ispro. I hope I pronounced that right. Gabriel Flores Jr. is on the line. Thank you very much for calling in, Gabriel.
Hey, no problem. Thank you guys for having me on.
So this Saturday, actually, you know what? Let's rewind that. As I mentioned, you're the youngest ever signee for Top Rank. That's right? We're not wrong in that?
No.
So can you kind of walk us through how that came about? Because I mean, Top Rank obviously is one of the major promoters in the sport of boxing in the world and has been around for numerous years. I mean, Bob Arum arguably has promoted some of the biggest names, even just with Muhammad Ali. So can you walk us through how that got to happen? I mean, were you approached by other promoters at that time, and did you decide on Top Rank? Kind of walk us through that.
Well, I was 15 years old, and I kept on finding these big tournaments, and I kept on winning, and I heard scouts out there, and they kept on asking about the kids and who looked good, and my name came up a lot, even though I was really young, So and then here comes with the help of Rick Morrigan. He knows Top Rank pretty good. He got us the meeting, and we all talked. And we made it work out. And the Olympics wasn't for us. We wanted to. That sounded good to turn pro. It was a good decision, a good contract. So we took it.
So was Top Rank the only promoter that you had spoken to?
Mayweather was trying to talk to me, get to me, but we didn't really get to him not too much. Okay,
so Mayweather Promotions and Top Rank were the two biggest, or essentially the two main promoters trying to vie for your employment in a sense with their promotional company, right?
Yes.
So what tipped it towards Top Rank for you? Like why did you decide on them?
Yeah, my pop, he been in the game for a long time while he's been a big boxing fan, so he knows Top Rank does a great job with their prospects and bringing up their fighters, and that's one thing that really stood out to him.
So have you met? I mean, I'm assuming you have, but like, have you met with Bob Arum? What was that first meeting like with Bob Arum? What did he tell you? What was the conversation like?
It was crazy. The conversation was like something I never had before. Meeting someone like Bob, such a huge name and a legend. So I mean, going to his office and speaking with him was almost like a dream, and we're just laughing and talking about how young I was, pretty much. I could fight when I got signed.
Was there any chance that you were going to stay amateur for the Olympics?
Well, the contract didn't work out with Top Rank and negotiations. We were going to stay amateur.
And was that what made you decide to go pro instead of staying for the Olympics? After being you were a standout amateur for the US national team, so.
But the amateurs weren't looking very promising. There's a lot of bad decisions. The amateurs that's been judging, they took off the headgears. People were getting cut crazy in the Olympics. So, and we had a nice contract with Top Rank. So, we felt like to write a new chapter in boxing would be nice. History.
If you're going to get cut, you might as well get paid for it.
It's right. Yeah. So Gabriel, you were you were 16 years old. You signed in November of 2016 with Top Rank, right?
Yeah, we signed a little before that. I can't remember the month, but that was when the press conference and the official announcement was.
Okay, and so your first fight in the States was sometime in 2017, right? Because
it was May 5th, 2017, May 5th.
Okay, so Cinco de Mayo. All right. And how was that? Because before that, you had fought a lot in like Nevada. I think you had fought also in. Did you fight in Mexico as well?
No, I never fought in Mexico.
It was just Nevada and then Texas, right?
Texas. Yeah.
So in May of 2017, that was the first time you were able to fight in California, right?
And that was my pro debut.
Debut.
The great turnout in Reno at the Sports Convention Center. But a lot of people from Stockton come by. It was an undercard under Jose Ramirez. It was pretty much a packed house.
It was the undercard of Jose Ramirez and Jesse Hart, right?
I don't remember if Jesse Hart was there, but I know Jose Ramirez was the main event.
Right. And so I'm glad that you mentioned Stockton, California. So, especially with one of your most famous athletes right now is Nate Diaz over there across at the UFC. Who actually is a very big boxing fan. He spars a lot with a lot of boxers. He sparred a lot with fighters for his last fight. Did you grow up in Stockton? I'm assuming you still reside there, or what's going on there?
Born and raised in Stockton. To this day I still live there and have my training camps out there.
Because you still train at your dad. You train at your dad's gym, right?
Correct.
What's your dad's gym called?
Those Guys Boxing Academy.
And how long has he had the gym for?
We had our name since 2003, but that gym we're at specifically, we've been there for a year.
Have you ever? I'm assuming you probably have, but have you ever had a chance to fight in Stockton yet since you became pro, or not yet?
Yeah, I fought May 4th. This past May 4th in the Stockton Arena, over 10,000 people on ESPN.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So how was that fighting in your hometown for the first time, especially as a pro?
It was crazy. It was mind blowing. Now hearing everybody, the room, it was just so loud. I could feel everybody's body, like everybody's voice bouncing off of my body. So it was amazing.
Were you nervous at all?
Nah, I felt more like comfortable. I was in my hometown. People were there. Out there for me. I was the big draw, so I felt more comfortable than anything.
When's the last time that you felt nervous? Was it your pro debut, or do you not really get nervous and you just kind of try to push through it?
Yeah, I felt like I was made for this, so I don't think there's any reason to really get nervous. I'm real calm, composed, so when I walk into the ring, I just feel like I already envision what's going to happen. It's always a good outcome.
Gabriel, how would you describe your style?
I'm a boxer puncher. I'm a boxer. I'll box you, use my distance, but then when it's time to close the gap and get to work, I could do that also.
I read that your favorite boxer is Roy Jones Jr. You'd like to do some showboating like him?
Yeah, and that's my favorite boxer of all time. And we may see a little glimpse of that here and there when I fight.
Have you ever got a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I met him before I fought actually under one of his promotion cards in Texas twice.
And what was that like? What was it kind of surreal, like meeting your favorite boxer?
It was kind of unreal. I was like starstruck when I met Roy. It was a great meeting him. That's somebody that really I looked up to and somebody I want to fight like. So yeah, it was crazy.
What did he tell you, or was it just kind of like a general, like a meet and greet? Like he said hi, you said hi, or did he give you like any advice?
Well, he was there at the weigh-in, and the guy tried to shake my hand, and at weigh-ins I don't shake my hand. I don't shake hands. And Roy told me, photos like I like that. I had the same demeanor.
That's cool. That's cool. He did. So you put so you if nobody knows that nobody knew that before, that's one of your pet peeves, that you don't shake hands at weigh-ins or in a sense with your opponent.
No, yeah, not before my fight.
Not before your fight, but after your fight, you're okay with it.
Yeah, of course.
Is that just like a psychological thing?
Um, yeah, it's more like I see it as he's trying to take food off my table. So even if I shake his hand or anything, I don't mean any good from it. Because at that point my thing is to beat him.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any one of your opponents, whether it's in the pros or in the amateurs, like really get irritated that you didn't want to like shake their hand beforehand or anything, or anything like that?
Yeah, a lot of times. A lot of times in amateurs and a couple times in pros.
Is there one that stands out to you that it was just kind of like the guy was just maybe like really pissed off or anything like that?
I mean, that flipped me off. When I'm sure a couple of them already did. But that's them being emotional and everything. But I never let that really get to me.
And I'm assuming even after the fights, like you said, before the fights, you're in the zone, so you keep that, you keep that composure. But after the fights, obviously you get it, you respect the game, you respect your opponents, so you're cool with shaking hands and all of that. Obviously, something like that. Has there been
a lot of sportsmanship.
has there been opponents who didn't want to shake your hand after fights?
No, there hasn't been. They all understand it's boxing. This is part of it.
That's true. That's good. That adds to the factor behind the sweet science, right? So going to your fight this Saturday, you're fighting, obviously, Tyson Fury is one of the biggest personalities and best fighters in the game right now, and not just in boxing ability, but in stature too. He's a big guy, 6'9". Have you ever met Tyson Fury before this Saturday or anything like that? Now that he's been with you, like as a stablemate under Top Rank.
I haven't, not yet. I haven't got the chance to meet him.
So you might be able to meet him this Saturday, right?
I just might, yeah, just might.
So how's training camp been going? How long have you guys been training for this fight?
We trained about 6 to 8 weeks for this fight. In tremendous shape, the best shape I've been in my life, going a lot of rounds of scoring. So I'm definitely ready.
When you're in training camp, Gabriel, do you focus on what you're gonna do, or do you find video of the opponent and then see what they do?
Of course, there's always strategy to the fight. There's always strategy. So we always focus on what we're going to do to him. That's a better way to put it.
Do you like to watch video of your opponents? Because there's some fighters who say that like they don't watch video of their opponents, they just leave that to their team, like their trainer and assistant trainer, and then they just put the trust in them to kind of teach them based off of their knowledge. Are you like that, or do you actually like to be there and watch film?
I actually like to be there and watch film because there's chances that I could actually catch something myself.
Mm-hmm. So what game plan do you have for this week, or do you not want to give it away?
I mean, it's simple. Just be me. That's it.
When are you leaving for Vegas? Are you going to be there for the whole fight week?
I'm already here. Talking to me while I'm at the Top Rank boxing gym.
Oh wow! I thought you guys would have been there like tomorrow or something. Nice. So when did you get to Vegas? Did you get there today or yesterday or?
today. I got hired today. This afternoon.
Nice. So is there a lot of people from your hometown? Are they going to be there supporting you?
It's gonna be a good amount, man. It's gonna be a good amount from my hometown coming out to support.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So in regards to the current landscape of boxing right now, because you mentioned that you like Roy Jones Jr. He was your favorite boxer growing up. Who are some fighters that you look up to that are currently fighting right now? Whether it's some of your stablemates at Top Rank or maybe some other ones with other promoters. Who are some that you really admire?
I like Canelo a lot. You know, he's a great fighter, a great boxer.
And at 100, you fight at 130 pounds, right?
133.
133. So essentially, when at an official fight, would you fight at 135 or 130?
35.
So you'd be a lightweight. Okay. So if, based on you being a pro right now, even though you are young, but you are a pro, that takes a great accomplishment to get to regardless. What do you think is the best? Well, that's an easy question at 135.
Lomachenko.
Okay, besides Lomachenko, let me make it a little bit better. Besides Lomachenko, who's the second best lightweight in the world right now that you think?
Probably Gervonta Davis.
Oh wow! Even though he's moving up to 135 and not having one fight at 135, you think he's already, just because he's decided to move up, that he's already the second best?
Yeah, I believe so. If he made the decision to jump up, and I feel like there's probably, for Gervonta jumping up to that weight class and him really showing out and him being at his best, it'd be really, really good. I could really see that. I could really see him handling a business at 135.
Do you think that essentially he's the only one who can give like some type of competitive fight to Lomachenko?
Probably. I feel like that'll be a outstanding fight, him and Loma. Gervonta Davis is one hell of a boxer for sure. He got a lot of skill.
Have you had a chance to spar, like be a sparring partner or for anybody, any world champions or anybody, prominent? Even though you're at a young age, have you had a chance to spar with anybody prominent?
I sparred Leo Santa Cruz. I sparred Oscar Valdez, Jesse Maidano, when I was lighter and younger.
And what were those experiences like?
Great. I'm in there in the ring with a lot of intelligent fighters that got a lot of experience.
What would you say would be the differences between an Oscar Valdez and a Leo Santa Cruz?
Oscar, he got a really, really good jab. Oscar could really box too. He's not only a come forward fighter. He got actually use some technical skill and box. He gets a lot of tools. And Leo Santa Cruz is an outstanding body puncher. He knows how to get to the body.
So if those two squared off, based on you being in the ring with them in sparring, who do you think takes it?
Oscar.
Awesome.
Oscar for sure.
Interesting.
Oscar just has a lot of talent, a lot of tools, and he got a lot of intensity while he's in the ring.
So Gabriel, you fought in Fresno this weekend. You're going to tick off Vegas. Is there anywhere else? Any other big cities like New York, Madison Square Gardens that obviously are on your bucket list?
Yeah, Madison Square Garden is for sure my future. I just don't know when yet, but most definitely in my near future.
Would you like to fight over in the UK?
I'd love to. That's like biggest boxing fans are there. Beautiful out there. I can't only imagine how it is out
there. I like that.
Of course you like that. Yep. You're English. Gabriel, you were 90. Let me correct me if I'm wrong, but you were 91-7 as an amateur.
Indeed, yes, I was.
Was there ever points during your amateur career where, like, especially when you kept winning and your record was obviously becoming stronger and stronger with more wins, where did you ever kind of feel like the pressure that, like, oh wow, now I'm 75-4, oh now I'm 80-4 or something like that? Like, did you ever feel that pressure? Like, oh well, I'm getting a lot of attention. I got to keep this going. Any type of pressure like that?
Nah, 'cause I fight for myself. You know, I don't worry about what people see when they fight me. I just make sure I look great and put on a great performance for me and my team.
How did you? We're assuming that your dad got you into boxing, or are we wrong? How did you start boxing? How did you get into it?
I was my brother and my dad. My brother was the first boxer out of me and him, and my dad used to train him, and I used to be in the gym and watch him. Our gym used to be in the garage. I was just so entertained by it. So I asked my father one day if I could box.
And do you remember how old you were when you asked him?
I was 6 years old, and I told him I could start boxing when I turned 7.
And your brother is, I'm assuming he's older, right? How much older is he than you?
4 years.
Okay, so they're pretty close in age. Does he still box, or is he kind of more like training you to become something?
He's more like training me to become something.
So he doesn't. It sounds like he doesn't box anymore. He doesn't want to box anymore.
It's a little different than just that, but no, he's no longer boxing.
You're right. I get you. I get you. So as I mentioned, you're fighting Miguel Angel Perez Aspro. I hope I pronounced that right. I was gonna make Mike pronounce it, but he would have messed it up.
You'd be better than me.
um, what have you been able to study him like as an opponent? What do you think he brings to the table this Saturday?
I mean, he's pretty quick. He's not a slow boxer. He has decent hand speed, but I feel my intelligence, my IQ in the ring is gonna be a little too much for him. So I've seen good tape on him and got a great game plan from him.
Gabriel, since you're on such a big event, such a big card, are you looking to make a statement? Get your name out there?
I'm always looking to make a statement. Me being myself, going in there and doing my best performance. That'll be a big statement itself.
Gabriel, what do you ultimately want to accomplish? Because we've had a couple young professional boxers come on our show, and we always like to ask them, because especially you're essentially at the beginning of your career, and we always like to ask them, what do you want to accomplish in the sport? If you see 15, 20 years from now, or something like that, when you retire from the sport, what do you hope to leave like as a legacy? What do you want to accomplish?
When it's all said and done, everybody remember me to be the baddest one to ever do it. The best. Because I come here and with a lot of competition, show everybody that I am the best to ever lace up a pair of gloves. Come in here, I fight my heart out. I train like no tomorrow. I mean, when the big fights come in the future, that's when everybody's gonna really see like a special talent and everything, and see like probably every little bit of me. And like a lot of people are gonna be shocked. And when the time comes, it's just I'm ready. But when the time comes, I'm gonna be extra ready.
You think you'll move up in weight classes
throughout your career?
I couldn't hear you. My bad.
Sorry, do you think you'll move up in weight classes? Go up to like 140,
yeah.
147?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna win different world titles in multiple different world classes. Mark my work. That's for sure gonna happen. I don't plan on being at 135 forever. I'm 19 years old. I'm still gonna grow.
Have you got next year, 2020, mapped out? And when do you think, down the line, you'd like to get a world title shot?
I'm not sure. I'm not in no rush. Everything's going great. I'm young, but once I do touch a world title, that's gonna be the end of the division. I'm gonna be ready to take the whole division over.
Has Top Rank, obviously, we know that they obviously have plans for their fighters. They're very good at planning stuff, which is great. What do they have like a plan for you in terms of the next several fights? Obviously it's a multi-year plan, especially because you're so young. So they're going to say like, oh, we want you to fight this many times in 2020, 2021. And then maybe by like at this point or this date, we can start contending for a title. Is there conversations like that right now?
It'll be best for you guys to find out the plan. Is watching every fight, seeing the performance, and you guys will know where I'm moving next and how I'm doing. That's how we're taking every fight. And I seem to get better and better and learn more and more. So that's how we're taking everything. That's how I want to know how fast and how slow I'm gonna go.
Absolutely. What do you think about uh fighters showing personality in as being a boxer, being an athlete? You know how some fighters are very reserved. They just let the boxing ability, the fighting, do the talking. But some of them, obviously, like a Mayweather
Nate Diaz.
or a Nate Diaz, who they both fight, but obviously they show personality, whether people like them or hate them. What do you think about that aspect of the game?
That's a big part of the boxing, big part of the game. That's what everybody's here for. Everybody's here for entertainment. If you're going in the ring beating everybody up, and then after that you're just, closed mouth. And I'm not saying you have to say anything outrageous. You just got to be there for the fans or for the entertainment. People you probably beat pound for pound, but not too many people know your name. Outside of your state, outside your country, and that's what it all comes down to.
Awesome, awesome. Gabriel Flores Jr. fights this Saturday on the undercard of Tyson Fury at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Gabe, what do you think of KSI and Logan Paul? Coming into the boxing world as professionals.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that's good for the sport, or do you think it's bad for the sport?
Couldn't really hear you, my bad.
Yeah, do you know KSI and Logan Paul are having that rematch as professional boxers this time around
on DAZN?
I was just wondering, your opinion on that as a professional boxer. Do you think it's good for the sport, or do you think it's bad for the sport?
To be honest, I haven't heard those names before. I haven't.
So essentially, obviously a lot of boxing fans don't know who they are, but they're big YouTube stars, so they have a large following. On social media, YouTube and stuff. They obviously do very well. And they fought, I believe, last year
in Manchester.
To a very large audience. I think it was sold out. And they did really well. And now they're fighting in November here at the Staples Center in Southern California in a rematch, but without headgear. They actually turned pro for this fight. And they're fighting under Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing on DAZN. Even though you don't know who they really are, but just thinking about that, they're YouTube stars and they're essentially social media stars. What do you think about two guys like that who are able to turn pro like that for a fight, because they're going to attract so much attention and they're probably going to sell out the Staples Center because they're getting a lot of their fans are going to want to watch. What do you think about that as a professional boxer?
Make your money, man. Make your money. But it's our job, the real professional boxers, to really make a name and stay in our sport. Like this, so whatever they do doesn't really, matter to me or any of us professional boxers. We're the ones that have to make the noise and make our sport good.
I like it. I like that answer. That was a great answer. So, Gabriel, we appreciate you calling in. We know you're at the top-ranked gym right now in Las Vegas. It's fight week for you. As I mentioned, this Saturday is it ESPN Plus?
ESPN
Plus from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So once again, Gabriel, go ahead. This is your time to go and plug your social media, anything you got upcoming. Obviously, your fight this Saturday, any type of business ventures you got. Go ahead. The floor is yours, man.
This is my Instagram is at G_squad_nation. Same as my Twitter. My Facebook is Gabriel Flores.
All right, man. All right. Well, like I said, Gabriel, we appreciate it. And it's exciting to have the title right now that you're the youngest ever signee for a major promoter in boxing, especially one like Top Rank.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big accomplishment already. And obviously, Top Rank has seen something in you to sign you at that age, so that's awesome. So we wish you nothing but the best of luck in your career, and we wish you good luck this Saturday in Las Vegas.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.
Youngest ever signee, man. Seriously, that's already huge. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what happens, that's huge. Like, how much younger can you go than 16? Like, what, are they gonna try to top it? Like, oh, you're 12 years old, Bob Aaron. let's sign that guy. You know what I mean?
You could see that though, down the line that people just do that just to beat the record.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So, but that's impressive, especially with a company like Top Rank being around as long as they have, and Bob Arum, promoting all these guys. I mean, he's promoted Ali, Mayweather, De La Hoya, Pacquiao. He's got Lomachenko now, Crawford, guys like that. So
he's a good fighter as well. I've seen him on the Fresno cards that Top Rank do, with Ramirez and those guys that sell out in Northern California. You can see he's definitely got the skills to pay the bills, just needs to kind of fill out a little bit more, because of his young age.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely one for the future.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm sure we'll get him back on the last round in the future. Hopefully his career lasts very long time, pending no serious injuries and stuff like that. But let's go let's touch on real quickly, even though we're kind of a week or so, 2 weeks late. We want to touch on the Lomachenko Campbell fight from essentially a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. But before we actually touch on that, I do want to air my grievances about that day. That's right. The Hornet got stung. Jeff Horn got stung.
He got destroyed.
He got destroyed
by the part-time boxer, part-time model.
Michael Zarafa, right? Yeah. Man, oh my gosh, man. When I saw that, I saw it on Twitter. Because obviously they fought in Australia, so it was a lot earlier, or at least over here in California. Man, and I forgot to text you, but I think we were texting. We might have been, but I was like, what happened here? The Hornet got stung. He's supposed to be stinging everybody. He moved up to 160 because obviously he was trying to get those middleweight names. That was the plan. It didn't work out. It was a brutal stoppage.
Yeah, it was a brutal stoppage, to be honest with you. And to be honest, I actually thought he looked the bigger man.
He did.
Zarafa he looked kind of slight for that division, but obviously he just took it to him, and Jeff Horn was down a couple of times from the replays that I saw, and I'll have to see what comes next for him. I'm sure he can come again, and he's still got a name in Australia.
I think his stinger is no more. He has to trade it back in for a pencil in the classroom.
It's a big leap forward for Michael Zarafa, though. I'm sure that gets his name back into the mix.
I know. I think he's back. I think he can get some more decent money fights.
Oh, definitely.
After that, so yeah, man. The Hornet got stung, so I just wanted to touch on that. So
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, of course you did. Of course you did. But obviously the biggest fight from that day, the 31st of August from the O2 Arena in London on ESPN Plus, Lomachenko gets a unanimous decision win over Luke Campbell in a battle of two Olympic gold medalists. Lomachenko unifies the WBC, WBA, and WBO lightweight titles. Okay, obviously I was wrong. You know what? It's the year of the underdog. We're still in 2019. I picked Campbell. I was wrong. You were right.
I took it as well, unanimous decision. I thought it was a good fight for Lomachenko. I thought that, Campbell kind of, with his size and his reach, made it a little bit hard, but I thought the scorecards were actually okay. I had it, like 9 or 10 rounds to Lomachenko. Obviously, he dropped Campbell with a good body shot in the 11th.
That was a nice body shot, too.
Just, I think, just levels to this, and, Lomachenko is just the levels above everybody in that division. I'd like to see him now just take, maybe Gervonta Davis. Obviously, they're still trying to queue up, the winner of Comey and Teofimo Lopez.
Right.
To face Lomachenko around the Super Bowl, I think Bob Arum was saying. But that would be a good fight to see, depending on who wins that. I honestly think Lomachenko actually beats both of them. I thought, Teofimo Lopez kind of struggled with the Asian fight that he fought a few weeks ago, the last fight. Then kind of just came out and said, it's because the guy's tall.
Yeah.
Not really much of an excuse, unfortunately. That's going to happen. You're going to get guys who are taller, stronger, longer reach.
Look at Mikey Garcia. He beat Robert Easter.
Yeah, you have to make adjustments. And, it seemed,
he knocked him down.
It seemed at times that Teofimo Lopez looked kind of lost in that fight.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that was good for him, though. I think that was good for him because
exactly.
Obviously he has talent, and he, like the fights before this last fight, he was doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped a lot of his opponents. He did the backflip, the post-match celebration, all that stuff. He got a lot of attention. Obviously, it was working for his profile. But, it's good that he got a tough, rugged fight like that. Because now kind of like, obviously he seems like he's a dedicated fighter. He works hard. but this kind of hopefully should make him work a little bit harder. Like, all right, these guys are getting bigger and better, so I gotta put my foot on the gas here.
That's why I think that a lot of the the Eastern European fighters at the minute, like your Lomachenkos, your Usyks, the Nail, and all those guys coming through, that they've seen so much, because as amateurs they have hundreds and hundreds of fights. So they're fighting small, tall, strong, weak, long reach, southpaws, unorthodox fighters, because they've done so many rounds, so many fights, and then they don't complain about going into somebody's backyard and winning the world title. For example, Usyk, when he was in the World Boxing Super Series, he went away, I think, 3 times, won world titles, I think, in every single fight. And that's just normal to him, because he's been in such a high school, amateur program, that going to, England, something like that, he's not fazed by it. Where, some people will go into someone else's backyard, they're kind of nervous, all the fans are against them, they're the underdog, they're the villain. But these guys don't care. Literally go in there, happy, smiley, and they just go in there, win world titles, and then off they go.
Yeah, that's their mojo.
Yeah.
Hey, look, but speaking of over there, obviously the fight was in London. Lomachenko was a rock star over there.
I said it last week when you said you were unsure about the scorecards. English fans, they seem to know the boxing world. They knew who Lomachenko was, and they were like, the tickets sold out. Well, they announced Lomachenko. Campbell didn't even announce the undercard. The whole fight had sold out. Oh, yeah. Because they knew that this could be the only chance to get to see him. I honestly think he's more popular in England than he is in the US. When he was fighting in Madison Square Garden, he was fighting in the small room.
Yeah.
He wasn't fighting in the big room.
No, that's true. And how big is the O2?
20,000.
Damn. And Madison Square Garden is like 20,000.
Yeah, and he was fighting
in the theater in Madison Square Garden, which is what, half maybe?
About half, I think, yeah.
Less maybe? That's true though. But that just shows you, man, you guys over there are freaking hardcore fans.
Exactly.
Do you think that Lomachenko is still a hardcore, like he's known by the hardcore fans? Do you think he's crossed over to that mainstream appeal yet?
It's hard to
I mean, he's obviously on that path, especially with the ESPN exposure, and he's obviously extremely good and unifying the titles and everything. Like, but do you think he's like maybe crossed that line yet, even if he hasn't crossed it too much?
I mean, I think he's well known in the UK.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But over here, boxing seems to me different. Like in the UK, people will go and they'll watch the whole card. In the US, sometimes the stadium or the theater, wherever you are, the casino is empty till the main event.
Who do you think's more well known by casuals, Tyson Fury or Lomachenko?
Ooh.
In your face. Let's end the show right now.
Over here?
Cliffhanger.
Over here?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, in the States, but like just from a general perspective.
Maybe Fury, because he was on Joe Rogan. He was on the morning shows in the US.
That's true.
Due to his story, and then his fight with Wilder gave him great exposure. Yeah. Whereas Lomachenko, like some of his fights, even when, he was headlining him over here, sadly they weren't exposed to the casual fans as much as they should have been, in my opinion.
Right. But I think, honestly, it obviously doesn't hurt that Tyson Fury, yeah, he's got the story, he's got the comeback story, fight Wilder at Staples Center here in LA and stuff like that. But he's a heavyweight.
Exactly.
Heavyweights just have that, people are drawn to heavyweights. They have that aura. It's a different animal being at heavyweight. So
they always say when the heavyweight division's doing well, boxing's doing well.
Yeah, it's true. And right now it's doing really well, even though a lot of they're not fighting each other. I mean, Wilder's gonna fight Ortiz again, and then he's supposed to fight Fury. So he's doing his part. But yeah, Campbell, I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. He had some pretty good moments in the fight, but I think you could see it from the beginning, especially with the body shots, that Lomachenko was just kind of dissecting him like he usually does.
I've got a question for you.
What?
How many more fights do you think we get out of Lomachenko?
Didn't he mention in previous interviews that like he
never kind of said an age, but he kind of said that he was here to create a legacy. I mean, he wasn't going to be the sort of 35, 40-year-old fighter that's still.
You know what?
Like a Manny Pacquiao.
You know what I think a lot, and this is just me just kind of viewing it from the outside, is like, I think a lot of it has to do with like, because obviously 135 is essentially his ceiling. He knows that. Everybody knows that. He's a small 135 pounder, but he's beating these bigger guys because obviously he's good. He's great. But he's even said that he's willing to move down to 130 if there's a big fight down there. I think he even said, or Bob Arum has even said that he can make even 126. So, he's open to that. But like, I think he knows because 135 is his ceiling, and maybe he might be looking at it like a Tim Bradley thing, because like Tim Bradley has said in interviews that he essentially kind of retired. At least one of the reasons, because he couldn't get fights with all these other welterweights. They couldn't work with PBC and stuff like that, which is unfortunate because Bradley was still in his prime. Like you can still produce some great fights, and I really hope that doesn't happen with Lomachenko. And like I know it's not just like Top Rank who has any issues or anything. It's also these other promoters. Everybody has agendas, and I mean I understand. It's a business at the end of the day. But it's just like what was the last one? The Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker. That was a great freaking fight, and it was two promoters who were working together. That was a great freaking fight, and I mean, yeah, Ramirez unified, and Top Rank got the 2 belts, But that's the risk you have to take. And look, Ramirez is obviously going to be a bigger draw. Like I mean, obviously he sells out in Northern California, but I mean, for Lomachenko, like
5 more fights.
Who can he get? Honestly, I mean,
off the top of my head, the 3 that I would like to see in the one, obviously, Comey or Teofimo, and then I'd like to see Gervonta Davis, and then I would still like to see if they can do it,
Mikey?
if they can make it. Exactly, I'd like to see Mikey Garcia.
Well, I think out of all of them, I would love to see. Obviously, my top 2 is to see Gervonta Davis and Mikey. But if I had to pick, I would obviously want to see Mikey Lomachenko first. Because I think, especially if you put that in Southern California, that fight could be huge. Just because, it's a big Hispanic community. Mikey can draw. And obviously, the hardcore fans are going to show up because of Lomachenko. Like, that's going to be a great fight. You can put that in the Staples Center.
You think the top rank, Mikey Garcia, will come into play? Will Mikey and Bob Arum be able to?
Well, it might. I mean, like, I've been seeing reports the last couple of days that Mikey's obviously fielding offers. That there's even a report saying that PBC is trying to get him the Pacquiao fight.
I read that.
Because they're trying to counter offer DAZN's big money offer. Because I guess DAZN is showing that they have money. And I guess reportedly, obviously nobody knows anything except like Mikey and his team. But reportedly that DAZN has offered big money to Mikey to come and fight on their platform. And PBC is trying to obviously get him to stay. So they're like, okay, well, let's try to get him a Pacquiao fight. So do you think that if Mikey signs with DAZN, is it easier to make a Lomachenko fight? Obviously, if he goes with, he's not going to go with Top Rank. He's not. It was already a surprise that he was at the fights here in Temecula hanging out with Bob Arum. That was already a huge surprise to everybody. But he's not going to go back to Top Rank. He's just not.
I think Mikey will pretty much go wherever the money is.
But it's not going to be Top Rank. It's not.
No, I agree. Because he not maybe stupid would be the wrong word, but he would look kind of odd to
you're kind of stupid.
Take what was it, 2 years out of the game to get out of Top Rank to then go back and sign for them would be kind of odd. But,
especially after all that legal trouble for like 2-3 years.
Yeah, exactly, where he didn't fight. I think Mikey now really is just trying to cash out, like, choosing the Errol Spence fight.
Yeah.
Getting paid really, really well for that. I think he'll probably sign for DAZN. And I think, making the Lomachenko fight would be easy because, as you just touched on, it shows that, DAZN seem to be doing things different. They'll make fights with other promoters. They'll also promote other fighters and interview other fighters on their channel, which is good to see.
It's great. That's awesome. Yeah.
It makes fights.
Yeah.
Because
I like it. I'm all about it.
Yeah, it seems to be a good way to do it. I'd like to see that fight, so I hope they make it. Mikey Lomachenko sometime next year would be great. A summer fight in SoCal.
I think it'd be awesome. I mean, honestly, I can see it happening. I really can. But I think Mikey Lomachenko does happen next year. I do.
You heard it here first.
I think it does. I really do think it does. But like I said, Lomachenko unifies WBC, WBA, and WBO lightweight titles against the taller Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell's still going to be fine. He's still great at 135. He still has a lot left in the tank to fight at 135 and get some big fights. He's fine.
Just lastly, I think it's just unfortunate that he's in such a strong division.
Oh, yeah. But he's a good talent though. He's a good talent. Like
He could be one of those.
It's not like he lost to a guy who's like, 10 and like 35. Like he lost to arguably the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Arguably, I said arguably because Canelo's number 1 for me. I don't know about you. Lomachenko's number 2.
That's a whole podcast by itself.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. I wanted to throw it out there. That's my opinion. But fight previews this Friday, the 13th of September, from the Mecca. No, I'm not going to call it the Mecca of boxing. I still think it's the West Coast StubHub Center. From Madison Square Garden in New York on DAZN, Devin Haney puts up his WBC World light. He has. It's just for the interim.
This is the interim. Yeah.
It's for the interim. Oh gosh, these crazy titles pop up again. Devin Haney, 22-0, goes up against. All right, you take this one.
Azor Abdulmalev.
Whatever you say.
I think
11-0, and like you said, for the interim WBC World lightweight title.
So the winner of this eventually, hopefully, fights Vasyl Lomachenko.
That's the plan. That's hopefully the plan.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So we'll see how that turns out.
You asked Dylan White about that.
Yeah. 600 and how many days? How many days? I don't know too much about how do you pronounce his name again?
Abdulalev.
Whatever. I don't know too much about him. But from what I've been reading and what you've been telling me, that this seems like it's a pretty good test for both of them.
Yeah, they both got, obviously, Devin Haney, I think everybody really knows now, good pedigree, good step-up fight for him. Abdulmalev, I believe, from what I've seen, good, strong fighter. Going to be a good test, but I honestly think, from what we've seen so far, I think Devin Haney will just be too much. I think he's just got the edge and speed, pure boxing skills. Abdulmalev is probably more powerful, likes to break his opponents down, just by constant, pure pressure. And I think Haney will win the fight. I think it'll be a late round stoppage, something like that. And then, Devin Haney is probably one of the better prospects that we've got out in boxing at the minute.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you could still call him a prospect, he's fighting for an interim championship. But, age-wise.
No, yeah, I wouldn't call him a prospect anymore. I think he's a contender.
Yeah.
I think it was just surprising that when he signed, because he was fighting on the ShowBox cards a lot for Showtime. And, what a lot of people don't remember is that he's the youngest promoter, I think, in the game right now. Like, he owns his own promotional company.
And he was doing them at Temecula, remember?
Yeah, he was doing them at Temecula, which isn't too far from here. Over here, they got a lot of wine tasting over there in that area. But there's the Pachanga Resort and Casino where they have some fights right there, and he fought there a lot. And then he signed with DAZN. He's with Matchroom, right? Essentially with Matchroom. So it's like I don't know if I think it's like a partnership supposedly with his promotional company, and
yeah, I believe so.
Something like that.
They paid him well. He's getting paid well.
Well, yeah. I mean, DAZN's got. If people want to know where the money's at, DAZN's got the money right now. So that's where the money's at. But I mean, it's on paper it seems like it's a pretty decent matchup. They're both undefeated. But obviously DAZN wants Haney to take the W and try to move him on up the chain. And like you said, this is for the interim WBC world title. So eventually the winner can get a prominent name like a Lomachenko at 135. Or maybe, who knows, what if Mikey signs with DAZN and they put him up against Haney or something like that? You never know.
Really is a good, down there in those weight categories, Haney and Lomachenko and all those guys. You have so many fights.
Yeah.
You got people, at the top of the game like Lomachenko, and people coming through in and around those weight divisions. So many good fights you could make.
And then also on that card, this is actually, there's a lot of fights this weekend, which is great because this past weekend was pretty slow. This fight, I'm really looking forward to. Heather Hardy.
Battle of Brooklyn.
Yeah, seriously, the Battle of Brooklyn. Heather Hardy, 22-0 against Amanda Serrano for the interim WBC and WBO World Female Featherweight titles. If you don't know, like Heather Hardy also fights in Bellator MMA. So she's a two-sport athlete, which is also on DAZN. Bellator also has a deal with DAZN. And Amanda Serrano is actually, her and her sister actually box. The Serrano sisters, right?
And Amanda also does MMA and, is it Combat Americas?
Right. And I think they're also on DAZN too, aren't they? Or
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're all under DAZN, which is cool because I mean, like, I think it's cool. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not gonna box. So I'm okay. I'm gonna go do MMA. Like, what the hell? Like, I think that's kind of cool. But like you said, it's a battle of Brooklyn. And these are not arguably, I would say these are two of the top female fighters in the game right now.
Definitely good to watch as well. Heather Hardy leaves everything in the ring when she fights. You can see pictures of her on her Instagram and stuff when she had some brawls and she's just covered in blood.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just really gives it all in there. Serrano as well, she's a 7-division champion, only beaten by Manny Pacquiao, who's an 8-division world champion.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, that's not bad company to be alongside right there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that fight. That should be a very competitive fight. I'm hoping somebody gets knocked out. Is that bad to say?
No, because in women's boxing, that is unfortunately unusual.
It's unusual, like you said. Yeah, that's why I said it. So, like, am I a bad person for saying that I hope there's a knockout?
No, and I hope it does well because obviously, I think this has probably been moved up to co-main after Danny Roman.
Oh, that's true.
Akram Meladev.
Yeah.
The fight fell through due to Danny Roman.
That's unfortunate.
Getting a shoulder injury. So I think this may have been moved up to co-main, if not Michael Hunter against Sergey Kuzmin for the WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight title.
Which is also on that card.
May have been moved up to co-main, so I'm not unsure at the minute.
Moving on to this Saturday, the 14th of September, from the Dignity Health Sports Park, formerly the StubHub Center, out here in Los Angeles, on DAZN. Another DAZN card. They got one on Friday in New York and one on Saturday out here in Southern California, headlined by Jaime Munguia, 154-pound WBO World Super Welterweight titleist, 33-0, puts up his title against Patrick Alati, 40-3. What do you think about this matchup?
It'd be interesting to see what new trainer Eric Morales has done to Jaime Munguia.
Yeah, this is his first fight with him.
Yeah. So as I said before, he was previously with Robert Alcazar.
Yeah.
And I kept saying that, to me personally, I didn't think that his style of training suited the way that Munguia was. Munguia, to me, was more of Triple G, Prevevnikov type of boxer, power, walk you down, close off the angles, just punish you, beat you into, submission, really. And it seemed like he was trying to make Munguia into a, fleet-footed Oscar De La Hoya type of boxer, which to me, that wasn't what his skills were.
That's not his skill.
They should have looked at what he does well, his stature, and then just, molded it into that. So I'm hoping that's what Eric Morales has done.
Do you think, I mean, obviously, we'll see how Eric Morales has trained him, especially in his first fight, to see how the partnership works.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that, because like you mentioned, Munguia is obviously a power puncher, like he relies on his power a lot, which, he's a big kid. Do you think somebody like an Abel Sanchez?
Exactly, because he trained Triple G.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I thought
and
at
they
the
speak
time,
Spanish, so it could work.
Yeah. I after, when we heard the rumors that he was going to be leaving Alcazar, I kept thinking to myself, right, he looks like a small Triple G, so you think to yourself, surely they're going to stick him with Abel Sanchez.
You would think.
But, he went to Morales, which was kind of a surprise. I believe, has Eric Morales ever trained anybody before? He went straight into TV when he retired.
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I'm sure he has. But but obviously
maybe not full time.
Maybe not full time, but we could be wrong. But Munguia is one of his biggest clients in a sense. So
yeah, so it'll definitely be interesting to see what he does. It'll be interesting to see kind of the advice he also gives him in the corner. Being obviously his trainer. So
right,
I think this will be his last fight at super welterweight. He's
very,
very, very lucky to even have the title.
Yeah,
after fighting Dennis Hogan, and he got a very favorable decision in Mexico.
That was a crazy fight.
He also turned down the chance to fight Jesse Vargas. They tried to get it.
I guess they couldn't agree on weight. Vargas was very vocal on social media about that fight. He was very vocal about that fight. I think he said in interviews that they wanted to do like a catch weight at 157 or 156.
And make it a non-title fight?
Make it a non-title fight, but Vargas wanted to fight for the 154 title, but I guess they didn't want to. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff going on there, but I know Vargas did talk about it, so he wasn't shy about throwing the details out there. And also on that card, your favorite social media star and mine, Ryan King Garcia, 18-0, is back. Goes up against Avery Sparrow. Garcia's back after his reported battle with his manager or something, which he couldn't fight for a while. Garcia, Victorville, California, over here, who just turned 21. right?
Just turned 21 on Thursday, and he was upset at only making $50,000 for a fight on a card which Golden Boy received a seven-figure license fee from
reportedly.
Reportedly, yeah. That's true, Danny. Should actually be a good fight. I think it could be one that could be a slip up. Sparrow looked quite good in other victories over.
Oh, he beat Hank Lundy.
Hank Lundy in March the 15th of this year. So I actually just watched a face-to-face of Ryan and Avery Sparrow in the car on the way here.
Right.
So it'll be interesting, and it'll be good to see Ryan Garcia in with someone who's actually live and can punch. With his change of trainer, going in with Team Canelo, so it'll be interesting to see, what he's learned, because someone of his age, really, they should be out more often, and because of the things that's been going on behind the scenes, we haven't seen him too much this year.
And Sparrow is. I don't know if he's promoted, because I think Usher has said in a TMZ interview that he's not the promoter. He's just kind of on the team. But Sparrow has Usher on his team. Here's a question for you. Does Avery Sparrow, is his interest music an Usher song?
Yes.
All right. If it's not, you lost. I'm telling you that right now. Does Usher walk out with him?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
I think
you
so.
sound pretty confident there, Mike.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be like a Broner entrance where they come out rapping and stuff like that. Usher will come out first, kind of like beatboxing, and then he'll come out behind.
I hope it happens. I'm going to be there, so if it doesn't happen, I'll be there live.
And Danny Z's going to be there live, so for the team, I want you to interview Usher, and then I want a duet.
I'm going to try.
I want a small duet.
Try. You're going to miss it. We're going to go viral on TMZ and everything, man. And also rounding out that card, Romero Duno, 20-1, goes up against Alvin Delgado. There was reportedly negotiations between Duno and Ryan Garcia, but those fell through.
Because Ryan was scared.
I didn't say it. You said it. So who knows? Maybe those two are on a collision course the next couple months. We'll see.
And Ryan won't fight.
And then also on Saturday, wrapping up the show here, as we mentioned, from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas on ESPN Plus, where you will be on location live in Las Vegas. Tyson Fury, 28-0-1, goes up against Otto Wallin for, don't get mad at me, for the lineal heavyweight title of the world.
And the WBC
Mayan belt. Oh, yeah, that's right. Munguia and the Fury fight are going to be for the WBC commemorative Mayan belt, which is like third or fourth year in a row. I don't know.
WBC cashing in. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
So, obviously Fury is the heavy favorite in this fight.
33-1 on are the odds.
So, obviously they're hoping that he wins and Wilder wins his next fight and they both rematch next year. So that's the plan. But Fury is obviously very entertaining. He comes out, his entrances are very entertaining. Last time he came out like what's the guy from Rocky?
Apollo Creed.
So I'm sure this time it's going to be something Mexico.
Sombrero.
It's Mexican Independence Day weekend. So we'll see. But like I said, Mike from the last round here on the team will be there live. So if you see him, come say hi. Also on that card, Emmanuel Navarrete, who just fought like a month ago out here in Southern California at the Bank of California Stadium, defends his WBO World Super Bantamweight title against Juan Miguel Elorde. The 32-year-old Elorde of, all right, I should be able to say this, Paranque City in the Philippines, is said to be the grandson of legendary Japanese super featherweight world champion Gabriel Flash Elorde. So there's a fun fact for you listeners. For me too, I didn't even know that. Jose Pedraza and Jose Chon Cepeda is also on that card. That's going to be a great fight.
Now this could be fight of the weekend.
That could be fight of the weekend, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That could be fight of the weekend. Those two, that's a very good fight. And Cepeda just lost a hard-fought fight to Jose Carlos Ramirez, the unified WBC 140-pound titleist.
Right. Pedraza's 26-2, only ever lost to Gervonta Davis, Vasyl Lomachenko. Cepeda's 30-2, only lost to Jose Ramirez and Terry Flanagan.
Yeah.
All world champions.
That's crazy.
This is going to be a good fight.
That's a
this
great
is going to
fight.
be a good fight.
And then really quick thoughts on KSI, Logan Paul, the zone at Staples Center.
See, now, I can understand. I think what people need to look at is, people who are angry with it, you need to look at
Business.
Boxing needs to do what they're doing.
It's going to give us a lot of eyes.
It's going to give us lots of eyes. Hopefully, some of the fans who watch it just because of their YouTube stars. You know, Eddie Hearn said he's actually going to have the undercard. He's going to have people like Billy Joe Saunders on there and other stars.
Get them exposure
to, you know, real boxers. So hopefully that'll attract more fans. And then, you know, some of the boxers who aren't, as you know, social media focused, maybe need to take a, you know, leaf out of their book and sort of say, you know what, I need to do that. I need to interact more with the fans. I need to put videos up there. I need to put training videos up there and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, look at people like Ryan Garcia. He's where he's at because of his social media.
I bet you he would love to be on that card.
Dave Allen, for example, the heavyweight boxer from England. He's not that good a boxer, but because he attracts so many fans because of his social media, people can relate to him. He's main eventing, you know, events in England when his skills are nowhere near pay-per-view worthy.
Right.
So it's just going. It just goes to show that, you know, if you can put bums on seats, then you're going to get somewhere in the boxing world. You can be a world champion, but if you have a boring style and nobody wants to see you, you're not going to get you're not going to get fights. You're not going to be main event.
As long as DAZN uses this platform to advertise their actual fighters, push them in the commercials and on the broadcast to show them to these casual fans and make them look like rock stars, like a Billy Joe Saunders or a Canelo or, you know, all the fighters under the DAZN banner, I'm cool with it because there's a lot of eyeballs who aren't going to be boxing fans who are watching just for those stars, but you're advertising to hopefully a new base. So I'm cool with it if they, which obviously they should, they are likely to utilize that platform. So as a business decision, I'm not hating, man. They're going to make a ton of money off of that event.
Oh, it'll sell out straight away. As soon as tickets go on sale, it'll sell out.
So once again, thank you guys for listening to the episode 47 of The Last Round. Big thanks again to Gabriel Flores Jr., youngest ever signee of Top Rank, who fights this Saturday on the Tyson Fury card. You can follow us at The Last Round 12 on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. As we mentioned earlier, I will be at the Munguia card out here in LA on DAZN. Mike will be at the Tyson Fury card in Las Vegas. So we will have coverage of both locations. And if you see us, come say hi. We'll probably be the tallest guys. Well, Mike won't. Tyson Fury is going to be there, so you're going to be shorter than him.
Yeah.
So once again, I'm Danny Z for Michael Shepard. This is The Last Round.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe. This is The Last Round Podcast.